as a kid. Yeah. But you asked for that. We can't blame anybody in any of this. This is why it's about discernment and listening with the spiritual. When you listen with your spiritual mindset, it's all about discerning. It's all about understanding the weaving, the quantum law of attraction. So there's no blaming with anybody. Being so human, and there's nothing wrong with being human. But when you start
he did that.
Yeah, because
well, no, and then as a spiritual being, I can say he did that, and great. He's a great teacher.
Exactly. Like I said, we're learning a lot of things, and through Skype, I have a Skype phone number, so if there's callers that want to call in, because people are very curious, 989-945-0287. Now, what's interesting is that hopefully, when you call in, we will actually see you call in. And we're, like I said, we're learning all of these interesting traits. So we'll just kind of hang in there and see if anybody calls. That number again is what, Jen?
989-945-0287.
Wonderful. Okay, so we also have to look at the chat room. So, I can't tell. Everything going good?
I'll go over an extra 20 minutes for your last time.
Thank you.
Okay, that's good thing.
Good to know. Yes, good to know. Yes, we totally appreciate that. And okay, so again, it's learning how to weave in and out. It is the yin and yang. It is the infinity. It is learning to hand the baton off. It is learning all of these interesting things. And like I said, the technical difficulty was basically with our illusion and our end. There's everybody else's illusion that play in this one moment of time. And what happened was the technical difficulty was based on the fact that as a kid, you have all these ways of reacting, and one of the ways that I reacted was that I have to punish. Because I punish by, I'm bashful, so I can't punish, so I can't be an extrovert, and I'm use my willpower and be called the bee. Oh, we still forgot to ask Mark. We talked to him. Okay, I will do my best not to swear, Mark, I promise, unless you tell me it's okay. I don't usually say the F word, just accidentally say the other crap. Oh, well, I have no idea. I'm learning.
Listen to our blog dogs.
Yeah, listen to our blog dogs, So anyways, so as a kid, and I learned this process at 3 years old because there was a very extreme bad process. And how I responded to it was not just one way, but a lot of ways, which then created layers through the chronic aging. And so it's a kid point, it was, I'm going to punish you like you punish me, because we want to teach others how we've been taught. We want others to have pain because we have pain. We want them to understand. It's like when you get a divorce. You want the other person to understand when you have your nemesis. You want the other person to understand. And it can relate to resentment, but it's also a program that you have going on. So mine was, I have to punish myself. I'm too bashful, so that plays into that part. So what I do is I end up punishing you in my head, but you don't know it. It's like taking poison and hoping something happens to you.
It's like a Big Bang Theory with Sheldon when he sits there, he's like,
put your fingers to the forehead.
My mind.
Yes, any minute now you will explode. But anyway, what happens is that when you get so good at that self-talk, you don't even know you're doing it. Because you're denigrating yourself, you're denigrating them, and you're creating all those darn chemical peptides. You create chemical peptides for every thought you think. You create chemical peptides of the way your posture is. You create chemical peptides when you sit next to your friend and you wonder, God, I got a lot of gas, and it's really them! You can't, but it's not about blaming. It's about experiences and relationships and entanglement cords.
And holding on to anger is like taking poison and hoping the other person dies.
Exactly. And again, these are all these things. So mine was about I'm supposed to punish. I had an emotionally repressed emotion that got stuck in my spleen, but affected me so I couldn't love. So it became a heart wall. And so last night I worked on, okay, so I have to become sick so I can punish my dad. See what you did to me type thing. And
that'll show him.
These spiritual practices that we're going to teach you in analogies is that it's simply just how we choose as kids to create our world, mark our world, and be our world. And it is just an amazing thing. I feel like you're supposed to check something.
Because it worked.
You're supposed to check.
It worked then.
Yeah, that's the key point. Pay attention.
And now, as a 39-year-old, well, it worked when I was 8. Why won't it work when I'm 39?
Because we didn't upgrade.
Life's a little bit different.
Yeah, we didn't upgrade. We didn't allow ourselves to upgrade to the next part of the phases of our life. And computers have really taught us that, you know, old programming needs to be upgraded because it can run slow, and this is where aging comes in.
They're having a conversation, the boys are.
Okay, and so when you have all of these downgrades, you know, or demoted, it's because when you can't get past it, you haven't processed it out, you haven't created a closure. And so now when you upgrade, and you need to upgrade Fight, Flight, Freeze, and then you need to upgrade the limbic system, the filing cabinet. So when we do healing tools, which we have a lot of them and many more we haven't put up on a video, as you sit there and you use the tools to take and stop all the chemical peptide process and then flush it out, and then what that happens is it takes the self-talk and slows it down and actually cuts the loops so it doesn't constantly keep going in circles. It actually gets to finish out. And then when you get to finish out, you get to stop what's going on. So I had this little program of punishing people, or punishing myself, or punishing whatever it was in there. So I used the meridian tapping, and then I used, for the rest of it, I used Hope Therapy, which you'll learn if you go to mwreveal.com/healing-tools. And you will find where there's all these tools, and one's called meridian tapping, one's called Hope Therapy. And what happened was that, okay, I felt good about it. Now this was related to also weight gain. This is related also to having sickness. So I'm unraveling this big mothership, that as I call it, because it's bigger than and more chronic than all the rest. And so as before the show started, I hadn't ate. Now, the moment I was walking around, my daughter says, "Remember to eat, Mom." I said, "Oh yeah, thanks." And then she's saying, "You want this?" No, my stomach says no. Literally, I don't want anything. And so then I sat down. Now we're supposed to be on the air, a few minutes before the air. They said, "Oh, by the way, you have a program running. You may not be aware of it, but your behavioral pattern, look at it." I'm like, what am I doing? I'm not, oh, I forgot to eat. See, that's punishment. You're not going to eat to punish them because they give you crappy food. So that's a kid for you. And so I said, dang it. So I ran out there to change my reality in minutes. I ran out there. I said, I'm going to have some toast. So I threw some toast in. And then all of a sudden Mark says, "Hey, we're up." And oh, we're off. Jen, I looked at her, I says, "All right, heal your punishment," because as she was walking by the bathroom as I was curling my hair, Spirit said to her, "Oh, you got to heal punishment." Well, that's all it said. It didn't tell her where, how, or anything.
Exactly. I'm like, good to know. I will work on that.
And you need to sometimes get Brenda's attention.
Does that mean right now?
Yes. So then she's like, "Oh crap!" So she started meridian tapping, and then finally, you know, she had stopped, and then pretty much it's like, you know what? Is the intensity over? Did you check? You know, because we sometimes just get sidetracked and forget. Oh, she had to do at least 3 rounds, and finally she's like, "Okay, it's, you know, it's all right. Feels good. Feels good." And then Mark says, "Okay, you're on. You're ready to go." And we're like, awesome. So we haven't had a problem except for the way the music plays. Do we have the pathway to have the music in
We
there?
had to save this program in order to.
So we had to upgrade by adding the good stuff into our hard drive, which should be what we do it ourselves. We have 2 energies that are constantly coming at us all the time, a negative and a positive, a yin and a yang. Okay, they're constantly coming at us. But we're so trained to look only at the negative and then view it from that lens and constantly look around and make sure we don't ever have that happen again, that we go, "Oh, there it is. Oh, I'll stop that." And we're in charge. And that means you're just over-identifying by being this human. Again, nothing wrong with being human. Thank God I'm on this planet. I love the fact that I'm human. But at the same time, I don't have to be, what do you call it, caught up in the hells. And you always hear, well, you can create heaven and hell. Swedenborg says what?
A lot of things.
It's a state of mind!
Yes, heaven
I'm
and
sorry,
hell.
I put her on the spot.
Exactly. I'm like, what do you want me to answer? So yes, heaven and hell are states of being, and that's something that came through with Swedenborg and his theology, is that there's states of being. It's not a reward and punishment system. Yes, he wrote about how they exist in the spiritual world, not this plane of existence, but another plane. But we're also creating that, but we're engaging in a heavenly or a hellish society while we're here on this planet. We're creating it for ourselves based on all our thoughts, our choices, our behaviors, what we're doing in the moment, and they are around us whether we actually see them or not, but it is a state of being. And talking
And that's
on
what metaphysics is.
Exactly, on an energetic level, But, okay, lots of thoughts going through my head at the same time. So,
Line them up like a herd of cattle.
exactly,
One at a
deciphering
time.
which ones. So, the idea that somebody who's decided to be in a heavenly state, well, what is that? I'm glad you asked. That means it's about whatever you decide as your divine source, whether you call it creator, spirit, universe, God, Jesus, Buddha, whatever that, whatever you want to, well, anyway, we won't get into that. Whatever, that divine sense of an omnipresent being.
Yes.
And in relationship with it. And oh my gosh, that's my guiding force. I'm going to live according to that guiding force. Then, being in that guiding, once you're really in alignment with him, you really want to enjoy the people that are around you and be in relationship. And he calls that loving the neighbor. And your neighbor is not just like on Mr. Rogers' TV show. It's the person that's with you. It's
in
your
your
boss. It's your family.
In your neighborhood.
all
Sorry.
all the relationships around you. And so you're choosing both of those. And then you're wanting to just emanate, be love, share love, do your purpose, live that out. That's a heavenly state. Anything that is away from that is being in what he would call a hellish state. And we have blips and moments and you know, because I've made this decision, am I in a heavenly state all the time? No.
That's normal.
That's called being a human. But we have this spiritual part of us, the spiritual human part of us, that is constantly awakening. And so it's understanding that those are states of being.
Exactly. And I had a fine-tuning moment with Spirit, and Spirit just poked me in the back and said, I'm supposed to do some type of a reading. And Jen, could you lovely guide me to where this, our chat room's located, because for some reason, oh, the Chrome, there it is. Yeehaw! Alright, so even though there's people in the chat room, I feel like it's for somebody in there. And Jen, just say stop.
Stop.
Okay, so I'm going. Jen, would you like to read? Because I can't see words right now. Except for this is the deck of Colette Baron Reid, the Enchanted Map. We use tools, bells and whistles. We don't just pull it from Spirit sometimes. And so if you have this deck, that's great. If you don't, it's number 4, upside down, and it's the Spirit of Place. So,
don't get entangled in details or desires that obscure the truth of your situation.
so what's going on in the chat room?
IGK.
All right.
Step back and ask yourself, what is the real nature of my inquiry? What am I asking? Even exquisitely seductive hidden agendas cannot conceal this. Trust your intuition. The Spirit of Place is whispering in your ear. Psst, 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 psst. You hold the power to tell the truth, first to yourself, then to the world. You can always distinguish between an essence that is true and one that is synthetic.
So that's for someone in the chat room. Don't get caught up in your crap. And then you don't even have to believe anything you tell yourself. Now here's the thing. Wait, I gotta do it. Okay, well anyways, I used to tease, and so anyways, I made a ringtone of that. And so I put the ringtone because my son likes to tease. So when he calls, it'll go. Okay. Well, here's the problem. He never calls, right? So I never get to hear it. So I don't have a pathway of knowing what the heck this is. So I'm sitting in my living room, and it's all pitch dark because I've got a 90-foot projector screen, and I'm watching, wait for it, Ghost Whisperer. And Ghost Whisperer had a scary moment. And it's the unseen is about ready to attack her. And I'm like, oh my God, behind you. And all of a sudden, I hear, I'm going, oh my God, that's a live sound effect. Oh my God. And then all of a sudden, it goes off again. And then it goes to commercial. I'm like, shit, it's in the room with me. And I'm like panicking. And I'm like, oh, just stop it. Get out of your human self. All right, so I get in my human mind. They go, it's your telephone. Will you just answer it? I'm like, oh my God. So I laughed and laughed and laughed. I answered the phone.